In Chapter 1, Hadrian Marlowe reflects on the loss of his mentor Gibson and the Red Company comrades, contemplating the grave he built for them. He shares a moment with Imra, who reveals that the village families now seek to be buried near the graves. Hadrian acknowledges his past mistakes with Saran, a former companion, and discusses the betrayals of those he once trusted. Imra reassures him, suggesting that even evil can serve good. As Hadrian sails away with Valka, Imra, and others, he contemplates his journey back to life and the challenges ahead. In Chapter 2, Lord Marlowe confronts Tor Arion about Tor Gibson's true identity as Prince Philippe Bourbon, exiled after the Septembrian Revolt. Marlowe learns that Gibson had become integral to his life despite being forced into the order. Marlowe struggles with the realization that he unknowingly killed Gibson's son, Lord Augustin. Leaving the Athenaeum, Marlowe receives an unopened letter from Gibson, which Arion had kept. The letter provides clues about Gibson's plans, his connection to Saran, and Marlowe's role in Gibson's life. Inside the letter, Marlowe finds a book with a letter of introduction to the primate, which he does not open. In Chapter 3, Lord Hadrian Alexander Marlowe arrives at the Ascalon and is initially confronted by armed guards. After identifying himself, he is escorted to Governor-General Valandor, who expresses disbelief at Marlowe's return after being presumed dead for nearly a century. Marlowe recounts his harrowing journey from Padmarak to Colchis with his companion Valka, including their betrayal. They discuss the alliance between the Lothrians and Cielcin. Marlowe insists on contacting the Emperor, but Dor demands further details before granting permission. Marlowe reflects on Valka's struggles during their time apart, noting her resilience. In Chapter 4, Valka recounts their escape from Padmarak and the struggles they faced afterward. Hadrian attempted to cover their retreat, but they lost him in the chaos. They fought their way through the city's tunnels, abandoning their van, and eventually commandeered a military freighter. After discovering a ship full of enslaved humans, they tracked the Tamerlane, which had been captured by the Cielcin. They followed it to a moon, then hid aboard the freighter. After years aboard the ship, they reached the Tamerlane, only to find it infested with Cielcin. The crew was lost, and Valka faced painful decisions. In Chapter 5, Marching Orders, Valka and the narrator spend 3 months in Colchis, retelling their story to officials while withholding key details about the Quiet, Watchers, and Enar. They are ordered to return to Nessus, where they will report to Magnar Venantian. On the spaceport, they board the Ascalon, accompanied by Commander Hector Oliva from Legion Intelligence. Tensions rise as the narrator questions Oliva's eagerness for war, particularly against the Cielcin. Oliva, confident in his military knowledge, brushes off the narrator's concerns. Valka deflects the conversation, and they continue their journey, with the narrator reflecting on past decisions and the complexity of heroism. In Chapter 6, Marlowe reflects on his past as the Ascalon departs Colchis, preparing for a journey to Nessus. He contemplates the pain of old injuries and the desire for healing, particularly from imperial physicians. Valka, noticing his internal struggles, reminds him of their shared past and the people who still care for him, including Tor Gibson, whom Marlowe feels responsible for killing. They discuss their personal histories, with Valka urging him to accept love and forgiveness. The chapter ends with Marlowe questioning whether he is a good man, to which Valka responds that monsters don't have doubts. In Chapter 7, Marlowe reflects on past experiences, particularly his long journey with Valka. He recalls his time spent in the Kresh chambers, reflecting on how much of it was spent alone, and remembers their earlier shared struggles, such as Valka's haunting illness and the battles they fought together. Hector Oliva, a younger officer, enters, engaging Marlowe in conversation. They discuss their pasts, including Marlowe's long life and the toll it has taken, as well as their different views on relationships. The chapter ends with Oliva revealing that Marlowe is under the Emperor's protection, though not without suspicion. In Chapter 8, Hadrian Marlowe returns to Madelo House, reflecting on the loss of his past life. As he settles in with Valka, the weight of returning to the Magnarch's domain looms over him. Magnar Venantian arrives, launching into an interrogation about Hadrian's failures during his mission. Venantian accuses him of negligence, questioning his decision to not transmit a warning about the betrayal of the Lothrians. The conversation shifts when Hadrian learns that his officer Lorian survived and was recovered. Venantian warns Hadrian that his survival must remain a secret until the Emperor's judgment. Hadrian bristles at the Magnarch's accusations, but agrees to await further orders. In Chapter 9, Hadrian reflects on the intense interrogations endured with Valka, who is protected by her Tavrosi heritage. Hadrian